Hello students, so today we are going to learn a very important chapter of your class 10th, that is circles. And before we move further, let's have a quick recap of what you have learnt about the circles in class 9th. So have you seen a circle? Your answer would be yes. Where is the circle? It is in the button of your shirt, key chain, clock, wheel, your coin, bangle. It is everywhere almost, and it has wide application. And to know that how you apply circles in your day-to-day life, you have to know the basic principles of a circle. So let's begin. So before we move further, let's have a definition point of view, that how you define a circle. Before defining the circle, let's know how do you draw a circle in your copy. You already know it, but let me recap it quickly. So we have basically an instrument that you may find in your geometry box, that is called a rounder. So from rounder we have 2 points, that is one is fixed point and another one is your pencil point, where your pencil touches the copy. So the fixed point is A. So what do? You put wherever you want the circle of the center of the circle, you put that point at point A, then you move your pencil freely in either direction, and when you move it completely you will find a circle drawn. Now let's have a definition of the circle. So what is the definition of the circle? Pause the video and try to remember what you have learned in class 9th. Okay. So the definition of the circle is the collection of all the points in a plane which are at a fixed distance from a fixed point in the plane is called a circle. Now let's see from the figure point of view that what is definition saying. Definition is basically saying that it is the collection of all the points. Let me change the color. All the points, these are the points, you can see them, which are at a fixed distance. You can see that they are at the fixed distance from point A. So when you join all these points which are at a fixed distance from point A, you will get a circle. Now you might be wondering, the circle is drawn on a plane. You know the plane, and we are dealing with basically 2D geometry. So circle divides in the plane which it has been drawn in basically 3 parts. So what are the 3 parts? One is the interior of the circle, another one is exterior of the circle, and another part is circle itself. So it's an important point you should note down in your copy, that circle divides the plane in 3 parts. What are the parts? Interior, exterior, and circle itself. So that's all about how do you draw circle and how do you define a circle. So let's move further ahead and let's learn some basic terminologies that you already know from the class 9. There are 2 points basically. One is center of the circle and radius of the circle. In the previous slide I already told you the fixed point, that was A, is called as the center of the circle, and the fixed distance that all the points of the circles are is called radius. And when you are supposed to draw a circle in your construction, you have to take care of that radius. Otherwise you would be not able to draw the asked circle in your question. So that is the radius. Now there is another term that is called diameter. Diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. You note it down on your copy. That was all about the terminologies. Now there are various types of circles. Now let us discuss about concentric circles. Concentric circles are circles which have common center. Like this circle, circle A and circle B, both have the common center, let's say P. So circle A and circle B have common center P. Now let me draw it for you. Suppose I have drawn a circle and I have drawn again a circle. So this is the common center. So both the circles have a common center. That's why they are going to known as concentric circles. Now let's study about the arc. Basically you might be seeing that the video is a little bit fast since I am revising. So you have to just revise the facts that you have learnt in class 9s. Don't be in a hurry that I am in class 10th, I am going to just start with a tangent. You have to revise your basic concept. So let's revise about the arc. Arc is basically, as you know that a circle is a collection of all the points. So if we choose 2 points anywhere, let's say I name them P and Q. So there you see that 2 parts are there, the upper portion and the lower portion. The upper portion, you can see it's easily that it is larger in length. So upper portion will be called as major arc PQ, and the lower portion will be called as minor arc PQ. So there are two arcs, major arc and minor arc. That was all about the arc. And let's study segment. So segment is basically when any chord intersect the circle at 2 points. You know the chord? Chord is, let me just define a chord for you. This is a circle. So whenever 2 points, you join 2 points, that would be called as a chord. So chord divides a circle into 2 segments. Now these segments are called as major segment or minor segment based upon their area. Now if I divide the circle from a chord that is known as diameter, you know the largest chord is known as the diameter. So then there will be no minor segment, both the segments will be equal in area. So segment is basically on area terminology. Now you have learnt and revised all the concept that you have studied in class 9th. Let's solve some questions to see whether you can solve them or not. So please pause the video and try to solve them quickly. I hope you have paused the video and tried to solve them, and some of the students would have been very easily able to solve these questions, but some might have been confused in some of the questions. So let's discuss them one by one and let's see why you were confused. So first question is, the center of circle lies in which part of the circle? And you have two options, that is exterior of the circle or interior of the circle. So I have told you that whenever a circle is drawn, it is intersecting, it has 3 places, that is interior, exterior and the circle itself. There is the center. So you know the center of the circle lies in the interior of the, so their option goes as interior. Now second question, a point whose distance from the center of the circle is greater than radius lies in which place? A point whose distance from the center of the circle is greater than radius. What's saying? Let me just clear the screen. Okay, here we have a circle. What it is saying, that we have a point, let me draw the radius, that is radius r. It is saying a point whose distance from the center of circle is greater than the radius. It means it is somewhere here. Now it is asking where the point is there. Now suppose let me name the point as P. So as you know that it is greater than the radius, so the point will be lying in the exterior of the circle. So what our answer would be? Exterior of the circle. Now let me discuss question number 3. The longest chord of a circle is known as, I already told you the longest chord of a circle, if it is a circle, the longest chord of a circle which passes through the center of the circle is known as diameter. Fourth question, an arc of a circle, an arc is a dash when it ends are ends of a diameter. So it is basically asking about the arc. So it is, let me draw it for you. You would be able to imagine what the question is trying to say. An arc is, fill in the blanks, when its ends are the end of the diameter. So end of the diameter, let me draw it. Arc, it is asking about the arc. So it is asking about this portion. You already know diameter divides the circle into 2 equal halves that are known as semicircles. So that would be semicircle. Let me write it. You should visualize the question before answering, otherwise you may mark the incorrect option. Now the fifth question, segment of a circle is the region between an arc and, so let me draw a segment for you. This is our circle. Suppose I draw any chord. This is our major segment, this is our minor segment. Okay, what it is asking, segment of a circle is the region between an arc. So here is the arc, and what it is called as chord. So what is the answer of the fifth question? And the chord. Sixth question, a circle divides the plane on which it lies in how many parts? You might have recalled that I already explained to you that it divides into 3 parts. So that was about the quick revision and application of the concept that you learned now. Now let me recap it and summarize it, and you have to draw this figure, you have to draw this figure in your copy. It would be able to help you visualize the circle and all its part. Let me explain it once again. So let me choose blue color for you. So basically I have told you that this is the segment. Whenever a chord is there, the arc and the chord makes segment. It is minor and this one is major segment. Now the periphery of the circle is known as circumference. Any line when it intersects the circle is known as secant. And you know the line have no finite length, so we have indicated with 2 arrows. Now if I don't indicate 2 arrows, you can see P, Q, it means they are fixed point, then it would be chord. And if I don't indicate the fixed point and it is able to grow on both sides, then it will be known as secant. You already know the radius. This is point O. It is called the center of the circle. Twice the radius is known as diameter. And when you join two radius, see very carefully, when you join two radius in a circle, the area covered by the two radius and the arc would be known as sector. And as, let me just explain you once again. This is our circle. Suppose this is our center O point, this is our radius R, this is our radius R. So I am talking about this portion. This would be known as sector. This would be known as sector. And as I already told you, based upon the area, they would be called as major sector or minor sector. Okay. So that was all about the class 9th. So let us start a class 10 chapter. The revision was very necessary as 1 year has been passed and you need to know about all your basic concepts before we move to complex concepts. Okay. So we are going to discuss basically tangents. What are they? Theorem based upon them. Then we are going to see the questions that are going to come in your examination, and then we are going to see its practical application. Suppose your friend asks, you are studying tangent, you are studying maths, where you apply in the practical life, then you have to know now where you apply in practical life. So basically, if this is our circle in your first diagram, see, then there are three possibilities how a line PQ can intersect a circle. The first possibility is that it doesn't intersect with the circle, so it's simple, no intersection point. The second possibility is that it passes through the circle. When it passes through the circle, it intersects basically at 2 points, A and B. And I already told you, when it passes through the circle, what is it is called? It is called as secant. Now the third possibility or probability is that when it touches the circle at just 1 point, and that is our point of interest, and that is what we are going to call it. We are going to call PQ line as a tangent. So you have to note it down that tangent is any line that touches the circle at just 1 point. So you should, if you have any doubts in this topic, you should rewind the video and see it again. That was all about the tangent, how you visualize the tangent. In mathematics, basically the questions or the chapters that are related to geometry, you have to visualize in your mind, otherwise you might get confused sometimes. So that was about the visualization of the tangent. Now let me discuss again some questions. We are discussing question again and again after the theory in order to see what you have learned and how you can use them in the application and problem solving. So these are some questions based on the tangent. Let's select red color. So first question is that how many tangents can a circle have? So let's see how many tangents a circle have. And before we move further, I will again ask you to pause the video and answer this question. I hope you have paused the video and answer some of the question, and all the students would not have been able to solve this question as some of the questions are tricky. So let me solve it one by one. So this is our circle. So it is asking how many tangents there are possible. So let us discuss some of the tangent. is the tangent, this is the tangent, this is the tangent. You can see that I can draw and I keep on drawing, it won't end. It means there are infinite number of tangents. So answer of first question will be infinite. You know the symbol of infinite? It is like this, or you could write as infinite. Okay, now some of the fill in the blanks. First fill in the blanks is tangent to a circle intersect in how many points? So you could see very easily it intersect at just one point. A line intersecting a circle, second question, a line intersecting a circle in 2 points is called, I told you it's called a secant. PQ, it is called a secant. Third question says a circle can have how many parallel tangent at most? So let us try to draw them again, and we would be able to visualize that how many maximum number of parallel tangent you can draw at a time. Okay, it's saying at a time. This is our circle. Lines. I am going to draw 2 parallel tangents. Okay, so this is our tangent number 1, this is our tangent number 2. Okay, you see that at a time you can just draw 2 parallel tangents, because if I try to draw this one, and suppose somebody says that sir please try at an angle, if I draw at an angle, you could see that at most, what it is asking, at most you can draw 2 tangents that are parallel to each other. Next come the question number 4th. What it is asking, the common point of a tangent to a circle and the circle. It is asking basically about this thing. It is a circle, suppose this is your tangent, so it is asking what do you say about the point P, what it is called. So you say it is a point of contact. So students, if you have any difficulty in any of these questions, you could rewind the video and see again. Now let us discuss some of the important theorems. These important theorems are very necessary in order to know about the tangents and how their geometry works. So let us start with a theorem number 10.1. So our theorem states that, it is the statement and you have to remember it, the tangent at any point of a circle is perpendicular to the radius, and from where? Through the point of contact. So the statement is the tangent at any point of a circle is perpendicular to the radius through the point of contact. And let us try to prove it, although 95% chances are there that this proof is not going to come in your examination, but we are going to discuss the proof since it may be used in the application in various questions that are asked in NTSC KVPY, so you have to know the proof. So let me start the proof. Okay, so we have a circle with center O, suppose this is point is P, and we have a tangent, XY is your tangent, P is your point of contact. Okay, contact. So consider point Q on XY such that it is outside the circle. So we have considered a point Q that is outside the circle but on the XY tangent. Now you could very easily see your distance PO, or whenever you use the terminology you have to remember that first you have to write about the center, that is OP. So you could very easily see, let me just show it to you, that this OP and this OQ, OP is less than OQ, OP is less than OQ, and you might be wondering why, since Q is outside the circle, hence it has to be greater than radius. Q is outside the circle, hence it has to be greater than radius. And after this point, OP is less than OQ. You can very easily say that OP is the shortest distance. OP is the shortest distance. And you can take any point, R, S, wherever you take the point, that is going to be larger. Wherever you take the point, then OP. So OP is the shortest distance. OP is the shortest distance. And we have proved this thing. And now we can state that since OP is the shortest distance, hence OP has to be perpendicular to XY. Now basically we have proved three things. That let us see point wise. First, you have considered point Q, that is outside the circle and on the XY. Okay. After that, we have seen the distance, that is OP is less than OQ. And why it is so? Because Q is outside the circle, and as Q is outside the circle, it has to be greater than the radius. If it is inside the circle, then the radius is the distance would be less than the radius. But as it is outside the circle, the radius is less than the OQ distance. So OP is less than OQ distance. And since it is less than the OQ distance, then we have taken point R, point S, and you have seen that these distances are also greater than OP. Hence OP is the shortest distance. And now since the OP is the shortest distance, OP has to be perpendicular to the XY. So this was all about your theorem 10.1. So this was all about your theorem 10.1, and we could conclude two more points about this theorem. The theorem is that we could conclude two more remarks about this theorem. First one is that, let me use the highlighter, okay. By theorem above, we can also conclude that at any point on a circle, there can be only one and one tangent. That's a very important point, and you have to know it. Suppose this is a circle, and at any point, suppose this is point P. So we can have only one tangent at this point, okay. What is point? Point P. Another is that the line containing the radius through the point of contact is also sometimes called as the normal to the circle at the point. And why it is so? Let me just erase it. We have some of the space to write this thing. Okay. You should visualize the circle, and when you visualize, your all problem would be solved. This is a circle. So what it is saying? Suppose this is our tangent, okay. This is our tangent, okay. This is our center O, and this was our radius, okay. And I told you that this angle is 90 degree. This angle is 90 degree. We have proved it now. So what it is saying, that this line OP is also called as normal. Normal is any line which is perpendicular to another line. So this line would be called as normal. So that was all about theorem 10.1. So you have to remember the proof. It may be used in another applications of some other questions. Now let's solve a quick question on this theorem, okay. And let me see that whether you are able to solve it or not. Pause your video and try to solve it. And please, when I say pause the video, you have to pause the video and solve this question. Otherwise you would be just seeing the video and it won't be helpful for you. So you have to pause the video and solve the question. I hope you have paused the video and solved the question. Now let me solve it with you. Some of the students would not be able to solve it. So let me just tell you that how I solve the question. First is that, okay, that is pen. First is that read the question. Second is visualize. Third point is draw diagram. Fourth is mark. Fifth, see what is asked. Then calculation. Any question in circle you would be able to do by following this chart. Okay, so now let me just start it. First I would be reading the question. Okay, so a tangent PQ at a point P of a circle of radius 5 cm meets a line through the center O at a point Q, so that OQ is equal to 12 cm. So it is asking the length of PQ. Then we have read the question. Now let me visualize it for you. So you have visualized in your brain. If you haven't been able to visualize in your brain, now I'm going to draw a diagram. So this is a circle, and what is it? Is center O. So we will be marking center O. Then a tangent PQ at point P of a circle of a radius 5 cm meets a line through the center of O at a point Q. It is basically saying that we have a tangent, and that tangent is meeting a line from center at point Q. So let me draw a tangent for you. This is your tangent. Okay, and let us also draw a line passing from the center of the circle. So what it is saying that these two are meeting at point Q, and this is at point P. So this is the diagram. Now I would be marking what it is given in the question. So O is your center, as you already know. PQ is your tangent. O is center. PQ is your tangent, and the radius of the circle is 5 cm. So join these 2 points. That would be your radius. That is, let me choose a different color, 5 cm. The distance OQ is given as 12 cm, and what it is asking, length of PQ is asking. So you might have guessed that which concept we are going to use. We are going to use your Pythagoras theorem. Let me just quickly recap it for you. Some of the students might not be able to remember it. So what it is, we have a triangle, name it A, B, C. This is your 90 degree, this is your angle theta. So what it says, AB square plus BC square, that is your base, equal to AC square. So that is the concept of the Pythagoras theorem. And how you know what is the base? On which 90 degree and theta lying, that is called the base. So I am just going to erase it. Just remember and write it on your copy if you don't know Pythagoras theorem. Okay. It would be widely used in the geometrical concepts. Each and every geometrical chapter that you are going to deal with, you have to know the Pythagoras theorem. Okay, let me just erase it, or you might be confusing with this. Okay, this line is just till this point. Okay, this is point O. Now apply the Pythagoras theorem in triangle. In triangle PO PQ O. Okay, so what is the base? Base is PQ. It's a square. Perpendicular is PO square equal to, that is a hypotenuse, OQ square. So what is the value of PQ? We have to find PO, radius, square, OQ, 12 square. Now here we solve it. PQ square plus 25 equal to 144. Okay, now PQ square equal to 144 minus 25. Remember to write the units everywhere. Okay, you have to write the unit, otherwise 1 marks would be rejected. Now PQ square equal to 119. Okay, so now PQ length would be able to just under root it, 119 centimeter. And this is answer of this question. If you have any problem, rewind the video and you could very easily see it. This is your answer of. Now let us see how many number of tangents you can draw from a point on a circle. Okay, so number of tangents from a point on a circle. So basically again we have three conditions, that the point is inside the circle, on the circle, and point is outside the circle. So let us discuss one by one. Okay, so here is point is inside, here is point is on the circle, and it is outside the circle. Okay, so these are three things. Now let us discuss number of tangents. So as you know that tangent is a line that touches the circle at just one point. So when the point is inside the circle, you won't be able to draw any tangent. Why? Whenever you draw any line from this, it would be intersecting the circle at how many points? 2 points. And whenever it intersects at 2 points, it is known as secant of the it is known as secant. So no possibility of a tangent, zero tangent when it is inside. Okay, so when it is on the circle, I already told you when it is on the circle, you would be just able to draw one. Now let me try to draw another one from this point. Okay, you would be see I won't be able to draw. If I try to draw like this, it is 2 point. Like this, 2 points. Like this, 2 point. So you can draw only one tangent from one point if it is on the circle. Okay, okay, this is clear. Only one tangent when the point is lying on the circle. Okay, now when it is lying outside the circle, so there are two possibilities. This is, you draw it from here and you draw it from here. This is your tangent T1 and this is your tangent T2. So when it is outside the circle, you can draw two tangents. So let me just revise it for you. Inside on the circle and outside the circle. Inside 0, on the circle 1, outside 2. So you have to note it down on your copy. Okay, so this is another theorem, but I am just going to discuss it and I would leave it to you that you should prove it. Try to prove it in your homework. As a homework I am going to give you, otherwise I am going to explain in the next video. So let me just state the statement. The length of a tangent drawn from an external point to a circle are equal. So here there are two tangents, that is T1, T2, that is your center, that's your radius, and that this PQ is your line joining the intersection point and center. So what you have to prove is that, to prove PQ equal to PR. So let me just give you a hint. Hint is use similarity or Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so this is your homework. This question is also your homework. You would be very easily able to solve it by Pythagoras theorem. I would be solving both these, proof as well as this question, in next video. Okay, so your friend would be asking you that you are studying tangent, you are just wasting your time and doing all these things maths. What is the practical application? So you might be visiting any market and you have seen this thing. Okay, what is it is called? It is called as an round about. It is a very wonderful practical application of the tangent. And why it is practical application of tangent, let me just tell you. Okay, you could see the circle. Okay, I'm just highlighting it with this line. So this is the circle you might be able to see. This is the circle. Okay, and how many tangent we are drawing? You are drawing this route. Okay, this is also the tangent. The car coming from this side would be able to go to that side. The car coming from this side would be able to go to that side. Okay, so you are able to go to infinite number of direction wherever you want. So this is the practical application of the tangent. Okay, so whenever somebody asks where is the maths in the practical life, so you are going to use the tangent. Wonderful, you will be able to explain how it is able to reduce the congestion of the okay, reduce traffic congestion. Okay, so that is the practical application of tangent. Okay, there are various practical application of a tangent, but this is one of it, and you could very easily tell your friend that this is what I have learned. Okay, so let's meet in the next video, and I hope you would be able to recap and revise the complete video and whatever the notes you have made. Okay, that's all from my side on this video. You have to revise what I have told you, make proper notes, note taking, and do the homework. Okay, bye. Let's meet you in the next video. Thank you.